Hello, my name is Wayne Alexander, and today we're going to be taking a look at campaign management. I'm going to be using the web version of CRM to show you the campaign management. I can confirm it's exactly the same process in the Outlook version. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump over to the marketing area of CRM, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on the campaign link in the left navigation, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on new. And when I click on new, it opens up the campaign form. The first thing the system wants is the campaign name. It's a business required field, as you know, and we're going to actually create a campaign for CRM 2011 launch event. So I'm going to just put the name in there. Campaign code, you can see here that you can actually physically type in a campaign code, but the system pre-populates this field for us on save. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that blank. The status reason, I'm going to select as proposed for the moment. My campaign type, it's actually direct marketing, so that's what I'm going to select there. You can associate a price list to a campaign. The expected results by default are set to 100. You have your proposed begin date, proposed end date, actual begin and actual end. This is important for reporting purposes. So I could say, okay, I'm actually supposed to start, the proposed begin date is the 3rd of September, but the actual begin date didn't take place until the 10th, so we were a week behind. Likewise with the end date, I'm just going to say that 31st of October and pre-populate it with the same date. We can also put in the description of the campaign, and we can add our financials. So we can say how much budget we have for this particular campaign, what the estimated revenue we believe we'll get in from this, any miscellaneous costs, the total cost of the campaign activities, and the total cost of the campaign. You'll notice are read-only fields. They're pre-populated by the system. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on save here. And as you know, once we click on save, the links on the left hand side become active. First thing we have is our planning activities. Now, it's exactly what it says on the tin. It allows you to create activities for the planning stage of your campaign. Please bear in mind, before you can have the ability to distribute out any campaign activities, the planning activities must be closed. So in other words, the system will not let you continue unless you've completed the planning activities, which makes sense. So I've clicked on planning activities. I'm going to add a new activity, and let's say a task, and I'm going to create a task to say please add the relevant marketing lists to this campaign, and I'm going to set a date of the 11th at 9 a.m. Now, if this particular task that I'm creating, I'm actually going to create it for another colleague of mine to do. Now, if my colleague has the Outlook client installed, what would happen is 15 minutes from now, this task would actually sync over into his calendar, and it will pop up 15 minutes before the time's due to remind him to add the relevant marketing list to the campaign. I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and just for the moment I'll hit save and close just to show you that it sits in the planning activities section. I'm now going to double click and open up the task to pretend like this task has actually been complete. So I'm going to mark as complete, and as you'll notice, it suddenly disappeared from the planning activities section. Well, the planning activities section, when you click on it by default, it would always show you open activities. If I click on the drop down, I could say all activities, and there's our task that was completed. Okay, the next step we have is our campaign activities. Before I show you the campaign activities, I'm jumping over to target marketing lists. And when I jump over the target marketing list, the system expects you to add marketing list to this actual campaign. One assumption the system makes is that the marketing list actually already exists. Now, if I was to click on add existing marketing list, we actually have created one called CRM launch. As you know, marketing lists, you can only create marketing lists for accounts, contacts, and leads. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. The great thing about campaigns is you can add multiple marketing lists to campaigns. And that means you, when creating your campaign activities, you can pick and choose which marketing lists you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now, once I click OK, the system understands I want to add a marketing list to the campaign. But what it's also saying is, do you want to automatically add this marketing list to any open undistributed campaign activity? So in other words, if I was to if there was any open undistributed campaign activities for this current campaign, the system would automatically add the marketing list to those campaigns as well. I'm going to leave that box ticked and click OK. And you can see the list has been added. Now if we jump back over to campaign activities, I'm going to add a new campaign activity, and it brings up the campaign activity screen. You'll notice that the name has already been pre-populated with us, CRM 2011 launch event. The status reason is read only and it's set to proposed. Why? Because that's what the campaign is set to. You've got the type for your campaign activity. I'm going to call it content distribution. You've got your channel. Now the channel is very important because this determines, when I click distribute campaign activity, this determines what activity the system will open in our next stage. I'm going to go ahead and select email. Here's the different options that you can choose from. I'm going to go ahead and select email, and I'm just going to add a subject line here. As you can see, it's a red asterisk, so I'm going to go ahead and say finally come. So I've put in a subject line. The owner by default will be my name. You've got your schedule start, schedule end, actual start, and actual end. You'll notice that the actual start and actual end are read-only fields. They will get pre-populated by the system once you actually distribute the campaign activity. So I'm gonna say the schedule start date is for the 30th, and the end is for the same date on the 30th. Budget allocated for this campaign activity, I'm just going to put in £2,000, and you've got actual costs as well here. Let's just put in 1,500. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit save. You'll notice that with your campaign activities, you have the ability to you will have the ability to attach a file as well. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to distribute this campaign activity. And when I say distribute, what I mean is if I go ahead and click on distribute, the system will look at the channel that I want to use. So you can see I chose email, so the system opens up the an email form for us. By default, my name's populated, so it's from. You'll notice that 2CC and BCC are automatically grayed out. Why? Because it's going to use the marketing list to send the information. You've got your subject for the email. The regarding's grayed out as well because we know that it's going to be linked to the campaign. And you've got the body of your actual email. You can, if you wish, use a template. So if I just selected a template there, click on the lookup, and let's just use this one as an example. And what the system would do is it would pull in that template for this actual email distribution. And then if I wanted to, I can go ahead and click on distribute, and when I do, the final thing the system would do is it would ask who does you want the owner of the email messages to be. I could have the owner of the records in the target marketing list. I could choose myself, or I can assign it to another person. I'm going to leave it as myself and click OK. And what the system's done is it's now fired off those emails. You'll notice on the left hand side here it will tell you what email messages were created, how many of those actually failed, and what the target marketing list is that you use for that particular campaign. Okay, so we've just distributed our campaign activity. I'm going to go ahead and save and close. We next have the campaign responses, and if I was to go in there on the link on the left hand side and click add a new campaign response, the emails has been sent out. When the emails actually get fed back into the when the responses come back in, you can create an email response to say whether the particular person is interested, not interested. I'm going to say interested. I could select the customer. Let me choose party favors. This is if the customer is an existing customer. If it's a new customer, you'll put in the customer details in here. They'll want details of the channel that it came from. So I'm going to say it's from email and it was received on today's date. And the subject was a CRM launch event. And these campaign responses are really valuable for reporting purposes, to see how many interested responses you got back, or how many not interested, just to see how that actual campaign worked and if it was useful and productive. So I'm going to just go ahead and click on save and close, and I've actually created my campaign response. We've also got connections. As you know, you can link your one record to another via connections. And as I mentioned before, you can actually link products to a campaign. So if I was to go ahead and click on target products, I can actually physically add existing products to my campaign, and likewise I could add sales literature to this particular campaign as well. So I just basically showed you how to create a campaign in CRM 2011, how to create your planning activities, add marketing lists to the campaign, distribute campaign activities, and to create a campaign response. Thank you.